Hey guys, it's May May, and you may remember that I got this Quilt Builder card deck not long ago, and I started doing shorts on my May May Made It channel, making cards out of these, and now it's time for me to make the quilt blocks. Now I thought to myself, I could either make a bunch of quilt blocks that are just kind of rando, or I could get a jump on a birthday present I need using the quilt block. So that's what we're gonna do. So if you saw on my May May Made It channel, I've already done 3 or 4, and I'm going to start with the same ones here, and I'm going to make them in fabric. And here's my plan really quick. This is a layer cake that we put together. My friends at So Charming, Penny and Emily, helped me pick all these, and Emily cut all of these 10-inch squares for me and made a layer cake. Now, I need this for someone who is a very colorful character in my life, so I did a lot of bright colors, and I'm going to need this for a birthday present. So this is what we're going to be using, okay? So I thought I'd take you along on the journey. Oh, let me tell you my plan. I love the idea of me getting to try a bunch of blocks. As you know, I'm new to quilting. I don't know anything about this, really. I'm really learning, and you guys are helping me in the comments. Y'all keep giving me really good advice, at least on my first video that I uploaded. You're giving me good advice, so keep doing that. But I thought this is a good way for me to try a lot of different quilt blocks. So this quilt's going to be kind of like a sampler quilt. And my plan is to just make the block using coordinating fabrics in whatever block I want to make. And then I'll sash them all together and it'll just be a sampler. And for the person I'm giving this to, they'll love that. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So we're starting with this guy. Oh, the other thing I have decided. Now, I'm not going to show you the backs of these cards. You'll need to buy them to get the patterns and everything. You guys understand how that works. You can get them at So Charming. But here's the deal. You get 6, 8, 10, 12, and 36-inch square patterns. I'm going to be using 8, okay? So I'm going to be using the 8-inch pattern. That way, I feel like if I use the 8-inch pattern, I'll always have enough fabric with my 10-inch squares. So something I do want to show you about these, and I can't show you the pattern. Like I said, it's not mine. I can't give it to you for free, but here's the deal. The way they did this in grayscale, it kind of lets you know what kind of colors you should be using. This is so easy, you guys. So for A, I've chosen this pattern. This is the one I'm going to use for A. For B, I'm going to use this yellow. And then for C, and I know it's a solid, but I'm going to use this as my C. And then D is the darkest one, and I'm going to use this for my dark. Okay? All I have to do is cut squares. I need 4 squares in the size it tells me. I need 4 squares that I turn into half square triangles, 1 square that I turn into quarter square triangles, and then 1 square that I turn into half square triangles. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'll just kind of let you guys watch me as I do that. These are the basic cuts. Now I need to do the subcut. That was that second column. So let's do that real quick. Now these just need to be cut in half on the diagonal. So what I'm going to do is stack up. Maybe 3 is my number. There's only 4. Let's do 4 and see what happens. See if I can cut through 4. My blade needs changing. I can kind of feel it already. So I might have to do that before this is all over with. But let's see what we can do here. So I just need to cut these one time on the diagonal. Not bad. It went through first try. So there's those. These need to be cut on that same diagonal. And this big guy needs to be cut diagonally in both directions. So that way. And across. I thought I had alpha biddies, but apparently I have alpha numbers. So they're not. They're just number squares. So for A, I'm going to use 1. For B, I'm going to use 2. For C, I'm going to use 3. And then obviously for D, I'm going to use 4 because I'm afraid I'm going to get these mixed up. So that's how I'm going to do that. So using that number system, let's lay these guys out. So for A or 1, I'm going to go there. And then it tells me B goes here. And then it tells me C goes here. And then I need a D, which is number 4, goes here. See, already this feels wrong to me, but you know what it is? It's because of seam allowances, right? We're going to assume that. Remember, I'm new to sewing. I'm new to this whole quilty thing. All right, so now let's go down the side. So here it says I need a D going in this direction and a C in this direction and then a B here and then an A here. It's going to be a good size block. I mean, I knew what size it was going to be, but still. Okay, and then I need a B going here. Oh, we're going to see the star show up. Then a D. I've never done a block like this, y'all. Like, especially like this. If I've ever done one similar, it would be where I sew these together and cut them apart to get this whole half square triangle thing. So this is kind of new for me. All right, and then we need, do I want to just keep going across? Maybe so. So then we need D in this direction. I'll speed this up. How it lays out. Now here's what it tells me to do. It tells me to sew this section, this section, this section, this section, and this section together, and then put them all together. But I thought you were supposed to do these in rows. You know what I'm saying? I thought you were supposed to go like this to this, this to this. But I think the reason you don't is because of the shapes. So I'm going to do what it's showing me here and see how it turns out. So I'm going to go sew them in sections and we'll be right back. So those are now sewn together. Now it's time to do the middle. I don't know. I'm trusting the process. I don't love how these look, but we're going to see how it goes. I'm just trying to follow instructions. Okay, so I've got that much done. Now in other blocks I've made before, I've always been told to go and cut these dog ears off. I'm going to do that. I think that will make this all sew together easier. So I'm going to go cut dog ears off. In case you don't know what that means, it just basically means lining your ruler up and cutting those little points off. But I'm also going to let it kind of help me square up as I go. There's just these little bits here and there that don't want to come out. See how much neater that looks? Let's do this end. And as I go, this ruler does not have a 45 on it for me to do this center, but I am able to go here and then along the side with this ruler to kind of make sure I'm square. All right, so I'm going to do that to all of them. I totally lied. I did not see this 45, but there is a 45 on here, so that makes me happy. I told you I'm learning. I'm even learning my own tools and what all I have. But because it has that 45, I can line it up in the middle there to help me really square up. So now we're all squared up and dog-eared, and now I'm going to sew this section together. Okay, it's starting to make sense to me now. Now I can do rows. So I'll do that together, and then that together. Now we'll sew these together this way, but can you see this? I don't know how I did that. I've got it in a couple places. I think I'm going to square that first before I sew. So I'm not going to kid y'all, okay? This became a little bit of a pain. You might have seen whenever I was laying these out how messy my points were right here. This one I didn't fix. Do you see this? But this one was so far off I had to rip all of this out and do it again. So I've done that. It's cleaned up my lines. Everything looks better. And now I'll just sew these together. Now it's time to square it up, and this is where I'm not very good. And I gotta be honest with you, this one doesn't really feel like it wants to square to 8. What I'm doing is looking right here in the middle. I've got 4 inches in the middle, so I need to go 2 inches and 2 inches if we're going to call this my center square. So if I lay this ruler on 2 inches here, We might be okay now that I look at it. Because you see, here's the 8, and I've got some hanging over here, and here's the 8, and I've got some here. So I should be able to trim this, turn this around, and get a good 8. So I've got my ruler on that line, which is the 2-inch line. Trim this away. So that gets 2 sides. Now what I'm going to do is turn this guy around. I love that. I love when things are squared up. It looks so pretty. See the difference? Kind of the janky corner versus the squarey corner. Now what I plan to do is put this corner in 8. And hey, that's pretty good. It's not perfect. It's not. It's not bad though. Right here I'm at 2. Right here I'm a slight bit off, but I kind of expected that. I'm going to fib it a little bit. I'm going to come in just a little bit. You're not supposed to, but I want to try to get those matched as much as I can. Now we'll trim this. Also love cleaning those edges. This is a little bit not cut well. Let me do that again. I missed a little sliver there. And that is blog number 1. Let's bring this back over. Look at that. That's pretty cool, right? I'm not going to say it was the easiest thing I've ever done. I think if I were going to do this again, I would probably, the half square triangle trick where you can sew 2 pieces together, put 2 pieces on top of each other, sew down the middle, then cut them apart. I probably would do that and open these up that way. I think they would be easier. I don't know. Maybe not. Just sewing in my machine with just the tiny points is a little bit difficult for me. But I mean, I love how it turned out. I love that I've done it. And to be honest, my son that's getting this is a huge Kobe fan. That gives away who's getting it. But this feels very Kobe to me, and I think he'll love this. So you may see this one pop up again in the design as we get going. All right, that's block number 1. I think I'm going to let each video be 1. I think. We'll see. Sometimes we might do multiples if we're doing an easy one, but this one took me a little bit of time, so we're going to let that be block number 1. Hey, thanks for being here. Don't forget to subscribe, and I want to mention, if you have not come over from my paper crafting channel, consider going to my paper crafting channel, which is May Made It, and subscribe over there as well so we can share the love in both places. Thanks so much, guys. Till next time. Bye now.